Welcome, everyone. How was everyone's Wednesday? I feel like it's been probably more than a year since I streamed on a Wednesday, if I ever have. I don't know. A little unusual. Hey, Scuffed Goose. Hey, Killing. Thank you, Jay, for the 12 months. It's amazing. Hey, Acadian. Hey, Kimmy. Hey, Aku. And Doc, of course. Always here first. How's everyone? I just put some gloves on, fingerless gloves, because my circulation, I have a vascular issue. It's not dangerous, it's just uncomfortable, so my body overreacts to cold. If any part of my body gets a little bit cold, then the blood rushes away from my extremities. Fingers, toes, nose. So I have to try to keep them warm. I have some compression fingerless gloves to help with the circulation in my hands. 12 months is like a year. Also started watching Chainsaw Man, but the mage is not yet on board. Yeah. I don't know if it gets better after the second episode. I'm not really hooked yet. I'm not, gotta say. Hey, Tickatonic. Yeah, Chainsaw Man, main character is likable, but it feels a little bit generic so far to me. I'm interested in what the other characters have to unfold. Thank you, Doc, for gifting to Tickatonic. That's very kind. Thank you so much. You're very generous. Maybe not ever, but I can speed watch it myself. I also watched an episode by myself of Mushishi, and that seems really nice and relaxing. Nisigo suggested that one to me. I might watch that one now and again when Vince's doing his own thing. Very otherworldly Japanese mythology kind of vibe, which I like. Okay, Vince. No worries, Acadian. So I thought today we would watch the buff. The buff that I released on Monday was about laughing at ourselves, not self-deprecation, not self-deprecating humor or anything like that, but like seeing the absurdity, seeing the humor in things, and kind of releasing frustration and stuff in a healthy way. You haven't started Chainsaw Man? Well, if you do start it, let me know what you think. Hey, look, Eileen, how you doing? You've had a lot of shows, to be honest, but sadly, life has been getting in the way as of late. Yeah, that's understandable. It's not always time to watch a lot of stuff. I feel like the main things that I'm excited to watch right now are Spy Family. I think that's the only thing that's actively ongoing right now. I think everything else is between seasons. We'll remember though if there's something else we're watching. You love laughing at yourself? What about laughing with yourself? There's a way to support yourself and a way to release pent up frustration or anger rather than exploding or bottling it. Getting better, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back? Well, I'm glad that you're making progress at least, even if it is slow goings. Hope that you feel better soon, much better, very soon. So let's go watch the buff. I think I have that set up already over here? Yes, okay. Alright. Volume is up, so we should be good. Hello and welcome to the weekly buff. I am Mage Vivica. Pumpkin, yeah, we can remove this week, I would like to discuss the ability to laugh at ourselves. Please remember that my buffs are offered freely without expectation or judgment. Self-deprecating humor has become quite common in recent years. That is not the topic of today's buff, though you may see my very first buff for that. Today we discuss the practice of seeing humor in strife and having the humility to be able to laugh at ourselves. It takes a sense of security to be able to see the humor in our mistakes and to allow ourselves the relief of admitting that things didn't go as we would have liked. It can diffuse the tension in ourselves to let that stress out through the act of laughter. Life is often quite absurd if we take a moment to step back and view things from a slight remove. It does take practice to build this habit when we're in the midst of stress and chaos, to pause, breathe, and exhale. A release of tension is inevitable, and if we do not learn to consciously decide how to release it, then it may come out in other ways, such as explosive words or actions. Perhaps we may even go so far as to notice the tension and push it down within ourselves. That is not sustainable. The tension is not gone, it is merely stored, and it will come out in other ways, such as low self-image or even difficulties with our moods. Transforming that energy into joy can help us manage stress and protect our relationships with others. See you next week. Thank you for this moment. Take care. Okay. Hello and welcome. We're not ready for another buff of the Thank you for the buff. Just wait until that's all finished buffing me, then we can move over to the other scene. There we go. Thank you, Vince. So that one was a request on my Curious Cat, about learning how to laugh at oneself. I suppose it didn't have a lot of steps in learning how to do it, but that's kind of a thing that takes a lot of practice. So I can give people a starting point, and then it kind of has to be repetition from there. Wall of buffs, yeah. We don't laugh at ourselves and it comes out as mouth diarrhea or sassy. Well, I mean, I guess I'm kind of a good example. Like with Dark Souls, when I die again and again and again, I usually laugh. Because, well, part of it for me is perspective. It's not really important if I die in a Souls game. It doesn't really matter too much. I don't really lose a lot. It might feel frustrated if I get too serious about it, so I try not to hold on too tightly to any control over it. Hey, Mr. Dark Souls. So just kind of accepting that this is what happened, seeing the humor in it, even if I was thinking, oh, this is going to be the one, this is where I'll make progress, or oh, I started this fight really well, I'm definitely going to be able to beat this boss this time. Even if I'm thinking that way, it's not entirely within my control. I can do what I can do. And things won't always go my way, and that's okay. I can find another way. I can try again. Honestly, if something embarrassing happens to me, instead of laughing it off, I'm just like, oop, that's embarrassing, and then I just forget about it 5 minutes later. Yeah. Sometimes if someone is like teasing me or something, like they bamboozle me, they trick me, I'm just like, oh, you got me. And then that's it. Just move on. Common practice where I'm from, so I do that all the time. Oh, that's good. I think it's a good attitude, yeah. Good that you have the example around you as well. Really are supposed to die, kind of the point. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you didn't die, it wouldn't really be Dark Souls, would it? Made you serious, but you're always so calm and relaxed. I can be worked up sometimes. I try not to be too much because it doesn't really help much. But I have anger, I have sadness sometimes, I have the full spectrum of emotion. I do experience it. I just try to give myself the space to process it, to feel it, to work through it. And then I release it in the ways that I want to put it into the world. So if I'm angry, I don't want to release it as, fiery breath enveloping all of the people I care about. I'd rather distill it into, okay, what is actually bothering me? And then use that constructively to talk to someone or to even change what I'm doing. Yesterday I felt frustrated. I stood in some water, a patch of water on the floor, and I didn't have another pair of socks to wear, but my sock was too wet to just continue wearing it. So I felt really emotional. I was feeling like, it's not fair. Why is the floor wet? This is not okay. And instead of blowing up at someone about it, I went and I cleaned the bedroom. I made the bed, changed the sheets, vacuumed. We have a little robot vacuum, so I made sure the floor was clear for that, and I got it to clean the floor. And then I learned how to darn socks because I have a bunch of socks and have holes in the toes. So I learned how to darn socks. So I spent a good while just darning socks. Now I have a whole lot of socks to keep my feet warm. So yeah, that's what I put that anger and frustration into. I transformed it into something that's going to pay dividends. I had a nice sleep in my cozy bed and I enjoyed my socks. Enjoyed having socks to wear. So yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna yell at someone about this because the floor being wet's not a big deal. It's not really the main problem. The main problem is I didn't have enough socks. I needed to fix the ones that I had, or I needed to buy more. And because they're quite expensive, I decided to fix the ones I have. Because that only cost me time. I felt doing Path of Pain yesterday. Oh, I always let Patches live. You're the better mage than I. True, I don't get too vengeful toward Patches. Our good friend Patches. Rogue boss from Majora's Mask brought out the mage rage. That was mostly Majora's Mask. The lock-on and this same with Ocarina of Time. The lock-on system is not very good. The controller is not well matched for that game, so it is quite difficult. And also the time limit. I think if I do play more Majora's Mask, which I'm kind of on the fence about, people might need to talk me into it. I think if I unlock another temple, I will just restart the day, so I don't have to try and get through the whole temple with the limited time left on the clock, because I just don't think it's possible. You have like 144 minutes if you use the slow time song. Patches is best way, I agree. Used to destroy the floor because wet. What game will you play later? Today I'm doing some reading. We're going to be reading some Nonsense by Edward Lear. I actually want to start with a Nonsense song, but I don't know if I'll sing it. I might just read it. You gave the socks a bath? How generous of you. Darned socks. Well, they are darned now. Darning is basically the process of weaving a patch into the hole. So I use like embroidery thread because that's what I had. It's like I use a thick thread. And if you've ever weaved like a mat, like in New Zealand, it's quite common to weave with it's called flax. It's like this. What's an analog? It's a plant that has these long strips as leaves, kind of come out of the ground. It's kind of like a big grass, like a really huge grass. And the strips are quite thick. They're almost like a fibrous sort of thin leather texture. And you can weave it so you overlap to make just like a mat. You just overlap like strips going diagonally and strips going horizontally, and you weave them over and under. So it's kind of like that, but with thread. Takes a long time, but it's quite effective. With my torn socks, my dog is a toy. He loves them socks. He does. You find that he steals your socks that don't have holes in them? I feel like that would train him that socks are toys. Yeah, I have 2 pairs of socks on right now. My feet were cold, so I added an extra pair of socks. I have these ones called heat holders, and they're like really fluffy on the inside. Supposedly trap the air between your feet and the socks so that it heats up the air and it keeps them warmer somehow. I don't know. It's just what they advertise them as. They work pretty well. Completely off topic, but you celebrate Thanksgiving. I didn't, as it's not a holiday in New Zealand. But I do usually have a meal with Vince's family, as they celebrate it to some degree. But yeah, I think we get together with family usually, make some pie, that kind of thing. Sweet potato pie is really good. Pumpkin pie is good if you actually use sugar pumpkins, but if you use the canned stuff, nah, I'll have sweet potato instead. Flax is in the seed. So it's, let me see if it has another name. It's New Zealand flax. So the Māori name for it is harakeke. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I guess I'll just show images. So I'm not really sure if there's anything like in North America that's similar. It's kind of unique. New Zealand's flora and fauna is quite different from other places because it was isolated from the rest of the continents for so long. It broke off and developed its own unique flora and fauna. Let me go over here and I'll show you a picture. So this is flax plant. So you can see the long strips. So it's kind of like a really big, thick type of grass, I guess. Thank you, Dr. Fixes, for gifting. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. And it also has these flowers. So these stems come out and there's little flowers on them. And they have little stamens in the middle where there's like pollen. Yeah, that's a New Zealand flax plant. I can't zoom back out. There we go. I have any other pictures? Yeah, that's a close-up of the flowers there. When they first come out, they're usually a bit lighter, I think, like that red color. Yeah, I guess that's all the pictures they have. Flax is unique to New Zealand as one of our most ancient plant species. There you go. So it is native to and unique to New Zealand. I love pie. Yes, exactly. Mage wave like a wave. Mage cat wave like a spider. Hmm? What up? When will mage feed chat? Should I make you a pie? Send you a pie for Thanksgiving? Okay, I'll do that. Like thicker grass. I mean, it's like. I wonder if it mentions the dimensions here. Mountain flax never grows as large as common flax, really reaching 1.6 meters high. So it's a meter in imperial. I don't know. I don't know what a meter is in imperial. I think a meter is like the meter is 100 centimeters. An inch is 2.5 centimeters. 3.5 feet. Okay, so it's pretty big grass if you think about it. It's like what, up to your hip or waist, depending on your height. It's pretty big. Yeah. And it's not sharp. Like the edges are not, they won't cut you like some like beach grasses will. It's quite smooth. Yeah, I'm used to metric system, but been in the US for a while now, so I'm starting to starting to lose it. I'll now laugh at my mistakes. I lose hardcore Hollow Knight run. Oh no. Pokemon could pop out at any moment. They definitely could. New Zealand has a lot of interesting birds and lizards and insects. The Jigglypuff, then Vivica will unsummon herself because she's done all that she's tried in life. uh, I mean, I could probably show you a bird that looks a bit like a. It could be a Pokemon. Nature. Native animals. Here we go. That is kind of Pokemon-ish. Look at those ears. But I think probably the birds. Those frogs, birds. Did you see I'm blanking on it. Ukeke? I think it's called? No. Oh, what's the name of that bird? Oh, directory for me. That'll help. I think it's Puheke. Takahe is one. They kind of like chicken sized. And you can see they're kind of on their back there, the feathers are kind of iridescent. And they are flightless, they just wander around. Are they just fat Pukeko? Pukeko is what I was looking for, yeah. I think Vent might have seen Pukeko when we were there. The Tui. The Tuis are lovely. There's actually a kind of beer brand in New Zealand called Tui. Named after the bird. Hey preposterous, how are you doing? What is the cool bird with the colorful face wandering around on two legs? Yeah, I think that was the one that I just mentioned. I don't know if there's any pictures of it here though. Not the Takahe, but the Pukeko. There it is. Pukeko. No. Okay, so this is comparing the two. So the Takahe is on the left and the Pukeko is on the right. You can even like look at the beak on the one on the left. It's like shape that like dinosaurs that have kind of that beak shape. It's a similar shape, right? You can really tell that it's like related. Back to those days. Back to Pie Talk. My roommates didn't know how to cook pumpkins, so I showed them how to cook the pumpkin, and made it with a pie with it. Gave my wife some, and that was the first time she thought she might marry me. Nice. It's a good way to go. Takapo, who had to be disqualified from winning Bird of the Year. Give other birds a chance, yeah. Kakapo's very flashy, I mean, that's fair. The Tuis, they mimic the car alarms all day, yeah. They're bigger than chickens, yeah. They're really chill. A lot of the animals in New Zealand, they naturally had no predators before humans came along, so they didn't really know what to do and they didn't really adapt that well. So they're still just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Fantails. Waka waka. These are really cute. They like flutter from branch to branch, following you when you're walking through the woods. When I was younger, my mum took me to a bird sanctuary where I proceeded to yell. I saw a red-breasted pigeon. She teased me about that one. This fantail is actually sitting on flax, so that's kind of a close-up for you of the flax. far as we know, there could be Moas living among us to this day. Where's Teru? I don't think she's in this one. The beak hits your eye and it's a big feathery guy. It's a Moa. Yeah, probably would be. And they have really lovely songs as well. Is this the one that was beating out everyone, the cockapoo? It is a cutie, look at that face. How could you say no to that? How could you say no? Wood pigeon gets drunk, falls into forest floor, yeah. Well, the same thing with the, you can see that for scale. They're holding it because they're probably tagging it, like, track it. And yeah, they're like big, cheeky parrots. They, kakas have, red under their wings, I think. I don't know if it's going to show a picture though. Oh no, I'm thinking of another parrot that's green. Kia. Kia's the one with the red under the wings, I think. So again, they're like giant parrots. I don't think it's going to show. There's, yeah, there's so many beautiful birds, and of course the kiwi. So sleepy, look at him. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a bouquet going upon a tree. Yeah. Lots of endangerment, too friendly, yeah. They're like, you're not gonna hurt us, right? All good. And then they get eaten. So yeah, that was a big tangent about flax that turned into a tangent about birds. Hope you enjoyed. Thing scares me. How the hell do they lay exercise without dying? Yeah, I don't know. Manage it somehow. Can you sing a little bit for us? It was cute out there. So cute out there. I don't remember all the lyrics. Let me look it up. Ukeko and on a tree. Folk songs. Folksong.org.nz. Alright. Sent it to me. Oh, I think you sent me the same one that I'm looking at. Thank you. Does it actually has I think it has music, but I think it has someone singing it. Alright, I'll sing a little bit. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a bouquet going upon a tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me two kumara and a bouquet going upon a tree. I feel like I'm really off key. And it keeps going like that. Oh, there's a part that gets really fun though. Okay, I'm gonna go until the 5th day. Cause I like this, the 5th day one is funny. On the 3rd day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 flax kids, 2 kumara, and a bouquet going upon a tree. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 hoo-hoo grubs, 3 flax kids, 2 kumara, and a bouquet going upon a tree. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 big fat pigs, 4 hoo-hoo grubs, 3 flax kids, 2 kumara, and a bouquet going upon a tree. I don't know why the 5 big fat pigs gets me, it's so fun. But yeah, that's the full one. I mean, that's the 5th one. It goes all the way to 12. At which point you have things I'd have to explain. Poi pois. Haka lessons. Juicy fish heads, I guess that's explanatory. Sacks of pippies. Plants of puha. Puhas are kind of green. Like collard greens kind of thing, like green. 7 eels. Pew-pews? Pew-pews. Pippies? I don't remember what a pew-pew is. I'm losing my kiwi. Oh, pew-pew. Yeah, it's a skirt. I believe I forgot that. And poise, 6 poise twirling. Poise are these little balls with string on them, like a braided string, and they're used in traditional Māori ceremony and dance. The women usually swinging them. They swing them around in pretty patterns and stuff. There's actually fire poise as well, where it's the same thing, but the end of it is lit on fire, so you have to be very careful. But yeah, it's very cool. But yeah, so shall we do some nonsense then? Still, I have to update the window capture. Here we go. So, this is a story by Edward Lear. He actually started out as a... Let me turn the hearth noise on. Is that loud? Let me know if I need to turn the fire noise up or down. Oh, we usually do nonsense. Yes, it'll fit right in. So he's actually started out as a wildlife artist. So he would draw very detailed images of like birds and things for like textbooks. But he fell ill and he couldn't do that work anymore because it was too detailed. I think maybe the paint made him ill because it was not very good practices back then. He was born in like 1812, I think. And so he spent some time with a friend and he ended up writing some children's stories for his friend's children. And then his friend commissioned him and he just became a children's author after that. And he would do these cute little illustrations too. So his illustrations are kind of a mixture of the anatomical precision of someone that was doing, science artistry mixed with like whimsy. So they have like this really interesting quality to them that I find really charming. You don't hear any fire noises? Okay. Let me know if you hear it now. Turned it up. I don't know if I turned it up too loud. Check the properties to make sure that it actually is outputting to you. It should. I might need to change it to... No, it should be outputting to you. You hear a tiny bit? Okay, I'll turn it up. Is that too loud? There's some weird rich guy would take me in as in-house creative. Yeah. That's kind of how artistry went. It's a little too loud? Okay. Kind of how artistry went in those days. It was like, you either died a starving artist or you had a patron. Someone took you in and paid you to do your work. Crunchy fire. Is it a good level now? It's not too loud? Let me know. I'm gonna hydrate real quick. Ooh, hydrate's really high because I was using it when I was hatless. When I'm hatless, I can be higher up because then I don't have to cover the chat. That sounds good enough to eat? Okay. Good. Alright, so this is a nonsense song. I don't know if you really want me to sing the whole thing. But it's called The Owl and the Pussycat. And it's a beautiful tale of very different people sharing a lovely partnership. This is The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear. Public domain, so I shouldn't have to worry too much about copyright. I hope. Alright. I'll try to sing as much of it as I can, but I probably won't be able to sing the whole thing. It's a story that my dad used to read to me when I was a little mageling, so now I can share it with my magelings. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are, you are, you are, what a beautiful pussy you are. And yes, hilarious. The pussy cat, okay. Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried, but what shall we do for a ring? They sailed away for a year and a day, to the land where the bong tree grows. And there in a wood a piggy wig stood, with a ring at the end of his nose, his nose, his nose, with a ring at the end of his nose. There's the piggy. I don't really see the ring too well. That's okay. I think I might have hydrated too much. My cat is moving. Are you okay, Vivi? I think she's okay. Alright. Let's continue. Dear pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring? Said the piggy. I will. So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon. And hand in hand on the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon, the moon, the moon. They danced by the light of the moon. And they're getting married by the turkey. Thanksgiving cameo, yeah. So, this turkey is having a better time than, mothers. What? Oh, did I slipped back somehow. I must have pressed a button. Sorry about this. Let me scroll back to where I was. These are all limericks. I could read some of those at some point. I've gone too far. I'm sorry. I am lost. I am lost. Okay, let's just, use the index. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, and that was the end of it, I guess. Sorry about all the awkwardness. But yeah, that was a story that I loved a lot as a kid. So, I want to share it. Then there's other ones. We've got... I'll go back to the index. Duck and the Kangaroo, the Daddy Longlegs and the Fly, the Jumblies, Nutcracker and the Sugar Tongs, Calico Pie. I don't remember a lot of these. Maybe we look at a nonsense story. Oh, it's the Bubble? Bubble who has no toes. I remember this one. You love it now too? I'm glad. Alright, let's do the Bubble who has no toes. I'll just talk this one. Bubble who has no toes had once as many as we. When they said, "Someday you may lose them all," he replied, "Fish fiddledy dee dee." And his aunt, Drabisca, made him a drink, lavender water tinged with pink. For she said, the world in general knows there's nothing so good for a poble's toes. The poble who has no toes swam across the Bristol Channel. But before he set out, he wrapped his nose in a piece of scarlet flannel. For his aunt Drabisca said, no harm can come to his toes if his nose is warm, and it's perfectly known that a poble's toes are safe provided he minds his nose. The poble swam fast and well, and when boats or ships came near, he tinkly blinkily winkled his bell, so all the world could hear him, and all the sailors and the admirals cried, when they saw him nearing the further side, he has gone to fish for his aunt Drabisca's runcible cat with the crimson whiskers. But before he touched the shore of the Bristol Channel, the sea-green porpoise carried away his wrapper of scarlet flannel, and when he came to observe his feet, formerly garnished with toes so neat, his face at once became forlorn on perceiving that all of his toes were gone. And nobody ever knew, from the dark day to the present, whoso had taken the poble's toes in a manner so far from pleasant, whether the shrimps or crawfish grey, or crafty mermaid stole them away, nobody knew, and nobody knows, how the poble was robbed of his twice 5 toes. The poble who has no toes was placed in a friendly bark, and they rowed him back and carried him up to his Aunt Drabisca's park. And she made him a feast, at his earnest wish, of eggs and buttercups fried with fish. And she said, the fact the whole world knows, that pobles are happier without their toes. Of gameplay today, read without giggling. No. Impossible. Impossible. Yeah, that was another one that was great. I remember. New alphabet. Alphabet looks fun. Lots of illustrations. See, like, his illustrations are quite anatomical, like almost medical, but they're also very whimsical. A was an ape who stole some white tape and tied up his toes in 4 beautiful bows. He likes toes, huh? I guess they're easy to rhyme. He was a bat who slept all day and fluttered about when the sun went away. I love rhymes. C was a camel. I'll put the whole thing on screen, maybe I'll zoom out a little. Oh. It's scrolling me down when I try to zoom out. Better? Okay, yeah, I can fit the whole thing on screen now. I can't see it. Oh well, I'll read it anyway. He was a camel. You rode on his hump, and if you fell off, you came down such a bump. He was a dove who lived in a wood with such soft pretty wings and so gentle and good. Such a good verb. Here you go, there's Teru. He was an eagle who sat on the rocks and looked down on the fields and the faraway flocks. F was a fan made of beautiful stuff, and when it was used, it went puffy puff puff. Oh. G was a gooseberry, perfectly red, to be made into jam and eaten with bread. I can't really see the heron. There we go. H was a heron who stood in a stream. The length of his neck and his legs was extreme. It's pretty long. The long boy. I was an inkstand, which stood on a table, with a nice pen to write with, when we are able. To print that one out for you, Vint. When we are able. No pressure, just when you're able. Jay was a jug, so pretty and white, with fresh water in it, at morning and night. Neat little inkstand, nice little jug, so cute. Jay was a kingfisher. Quickly he flew, so bright and pretty, green, purple, and blue. L was a lily, so white and so sweet. To see it and smell it was something quite a nice treat. Oh, a man. Him was a man who walked round and round. He wore a long coat that came down to the ground. Quite fashionable, isn't he? Doing some fashion souls. Hey Locust, how you doing? Oh, this one's gonna be in the league of the Owl and the Pussycat, I see. In was a nut, so smooth and so brown. When it was ripe, it fell tumble-dum down. Oh gosh. O was an oyster who lived in his shell. If you let him alone, he felt perfectly well. Thank you, Vint. He was a Polly, all red, blue, and green. The most beautiful Polly that ever was seen. Pretty cute Polly. I think maybe some of the New Zealand birds we looked at earlier were more pretty, but we don't know what color this one is, honestly. Q was a quill made into a pen, but I do not know where, and I cannot say when. R was a rattlesnake, rolled up so tight. Those who saw him ran quickly, for fear he should bite. Can't be scared then, 'cause he would never bite us. He's too nice. S was a screw, to screw down a box, and then it was fastened without any locks. Yeah, you used a screw in a box, it would be closed. A scare would bite. I guess he might, yeah. Only with consent, though. T was a thimble, of silver so bright. When placed on the finger, it fitted so tight. I guess you wouldn't want your thimble to fall off, because you prick your finger when you're sewing. U was an upper coat, woolly and warm, to wear all in the snow or the storm. Wear all over all in the snow and the storm, or the storm. V was a veil with a border upon it, and a ribbon to tie it, all round a pink bonnet. Oh yeah, I see. The front part is the veil and the back part is the bonnet. Took me a moment to to see. W was a watch, where all letters of gold, or where in letters of gold the hour of the day you might always behold. As long as it's set correctly. Did everyone change their clocks back? I think I've changed all of mine that don't change automatically. X was King Xerxes, who wore on his head a mighty large turban, green, yellow, and red. Wonder if that's the inspiration for the Xanthus King in Dark Souls 1. Remember the Xanthus King with the huge parasite hat? It was like a parasite wrapped up in fabric. Y was a yak from the land of Tibet. Except his white tail, he was all black as jet. Haven't changed my clock, but I didn't change it for daylight savings time, so it's correct. Oh, okay. That means we're finally done with daylight savings time. It'll be alright. Big brain play. Fair. I think the proposal is to keep daylight saving time all year round though, not to stay regular time. But I could be wrong. Zed was a zebra, all striped white and black, and if he were tame, you might ride on his back. I don't think anyone's managed to tame zebras. I don't know if they've tried though. So I don't know if people want more nonsense yet. How are we doing? Is it fun to listen to? Has it lost its luster already? Get me alliterating, catching on. Looking at all the options here. There's nonsense songs, stories, botany, alphabets. 100 nonsense pictures and rhymes. 26 nonsense rhymes and pictures. I could read some limericks. I think that's what's the nonsense pictures and rhymes are. Yeah, the limericks. You have some limericks? Getting sleepy? Alright. I zoom out. Really see the whole thing. What if I go out of full screen? Okay. I'm trying to use one hand to do Control Z, Control 0. I'm trying not to upset Vivienne in my sleeve. Still cutting it off. Oh, I know why, because I'm in the scene that has... Yeah, there we go. That's easier to see. Alright. A little too small though. I guess that's close. Well, you can see the donkey. I'll just read the words. Absolutely bestimus ass, who resided in a barrel and only lived on soda water and pickled cucumbers. Okay, these aren't limericks, they're just illustrations with descriptions, I guess. Where's the limericks? Those are limericks, alright. Start at the bottom, why not? Be different. Where's the bottom? I don't see it too easily, but I don't want to fiddle with it too much. You can kind of see her now. Frog? For real, on God. Just like you. You only eat pickles. There was a young lady whose bonnet came untied when the birds sate upon it. But she said, I don't care. All the birds in the air are welcome to sit on my bonnet. Quite accommodating of her, isn't it? The more the merrier. There was a young lady of Ryde, whose shoestrings were seldom untied. She purchased some clogs and some small spotty dogs, and frequently walked about Ryde. It's interesting clogs. They almost look like ice skates. I guess they're the ones that have the hollow bit in the sole. There was an old lady whose folly induced her to sit on a holly, whereupon by a thorn her dress being torn, she quickly became melancholy. Aww. I'm not sure why you would sit on a holly bush. It's also getting kind of festive, isn't it? Holly and Yuletide. There was a young lady whose eyes were unique as to color and size. When she opened them wide, people all turned aside and started away in surprise. Stumbled into doing Christmas in November. Hey, there was a turkey too. It's all good. There was an old man of Dundee who frequented the top of a tree. When disturbed by the crows, he abruptly arose and exclaimed, "I'll return to Dundee!" He's easily put off, isn't he? Playing something on November 1st. The in-game Jingle Bell started playing. She's looking like a fish. She looks almost like Betty Boop kind of style. Huge eyes. I mean, you brought up the 12 Days of Christmas song event, so you can't blame anyone else for moving the calendar along too quickly. Looks like she could come from a Junji Ito manga. Yeah. We have closest second to Halloween is in the ground. One of my neighbors already has a huge Christmas light display. Every square inch inside the house are rainbow lights. Yeah, I had to look away from that one. I was like, wow, that looks like a migraine. This is a good one. Giant beard. There was an old man with a beard who said, "It is just as I feared. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nests in my beard." I feel like that would be relatively easy to avoid. Remember the beard dude? But from where? Other than my own face? If I zoom in closer, we'll be able to recognize him. Maybe the image has been reused somewhere. Doesn't snow here anymore? Yeah, it doesn't really much. Comparative to how it used to, apparently. People tell me that things are different than how they used to be, but it's been this way since I moved here, so... Naruto running? I mean, you might too if you had several birds in your beard. What's this man up to? There was an old man of Vesuvius. Oh, sounds like a bad start. Who studied the works of Vitruvius. When the flames burnt his book, to drinking he took. That morbid old man of Vesuvius. Well, at least he didn't perish. Vesuvius was a volcano. Erupted and perished many people. There was an old man of Corfu who never knew what he should do. So he rushed up and down till the sun made him brown. That bewildered old man of Corfu. I don't know Corfu. Never heard of that place. Maybe it's an old name for a place that's got a new name now. Oh, it's a Greek island. Also called Arica? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right at all. Okay, so it's a Greek man. Got an olivey tan. Interesting. There was an old man of Peru who never knew what he should do, so he tore off his hair and behaved like a bear. That intrinsic old man of Peru. First ever bear VTuber. I'm calling it. Documented history in the 1800s of VTubers. He just wasn't virtual. I guess he was a old tuber? Sir Barrington. Right? He looks determined though. Look at that expression. Very determined. Like, I'm gonna get rid of all this hair. I'm gonna be a bear. I don't know why you have to be hairless to be a bear, but sure, you do you. First furry. There was an old person of Yule who chiefly subsisted on gruel. But to make it more nice, he inserted some mice, which refreshed the old person of Yule. Okay, good. Okay, hey guy. You'll get dangerously close to Christmas again. Well, that's Yuletide, spelled differently. There was an old man of Bohemia whose daughter was christened Euphemia? That's how you say that. By one day, to his grief, she married a thief, which grieved that old man of Bohemia. Wow, he's really grieved. 2 lines mentioning his grief. Very, very grieved. No matter how I tear, I couldn't get rid of all my hair. Truly a bear VTuber. Truly, truly. But look at those legs. That's impressive. There was an old man of Goblins. I've never heard of that place either. The length of whose legs were immense. He went with one prance from Turkey to France. That surprising old man of Koblenz. I need to know where that is now, Koblenz. This guy knows a lot of place names. I guess he'd probably like look them up. Make rhymes. Koblenz is in Germany. German city on the banks of the Rhine and the Moselle? Aha. Hey. Guess that makes sense why he's stepping about Europe. Simply too much. Gonna be rhyming for weeks. Edward Lear turning us into geoguesses, yeah. There was an old man in a casement who held up his hands in amazement. When they said, "Sir, you'll fall," he replied, "Not at all." That incipient old man in a casement. That was really hard to say. Yeah, he's doing that Nisigo emote. There was a young lady of Lucca whose lovers completely forsook her. She ran up a tree and said fiddle-dee-dee, which embarrassed the people of Lucca. I see. The Moors have changed a lot. 200-year-old evidence of Nisa goblin sightings, yeah. There's a lot of evidence in this. It's amazing. I don't know why we never referred to this ancient text before. There was an old man with an owl who continued to bother and howl. He sat on a rail and imbibed bitter ale, which refreshed that old man and his owl. He looks a bit like an owl, doesn't he? Like a pirate owl. But just a VTuber book. It's the OG fan art. Oh, you can't really see it, but... Oh, I did it again. I did the thing again. I accidentally went back. I think I remembered an obscure place name to get me back there quickly. So there's a... Oh yeah, you can see it. There's a creature on his leg. There was an old man of the D who was sadly annoyed by a flea. Oh, that's a huge flea. When he said, "I will scratch it," they gave him a hatchet, which grieved that old man of the D. What on earth is the D? My goodness. I don't even know how to find it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's referring to. Yeah, they give him a hatchet for a flea. I mean, to be fair, that is a giant flea. That's like the size of a chihuahua. Chihuahua-sized flea. So, yeah, a hatchet might be appropriate, actually. Have you ever tried to squash a flea? They have quite hard exoskeletons. So, you can crush them. I used to use a flea comb on a pet dog that we had, and I would comb all the fleas off. The person that owned the dog did not believe in any kind of insecticide, so we had to just do it naturally that way. And you can drown them, or you can crush them between the flats of two fingernails, usually thumbs. Ancestors developed a method of squishing them. It's called just eat the buggers. Well, if you're trying to get them off your dog so they'll stop eating your dog, you have to do something with them. I guess you could eat them if you wanted. I'm not sure how safe that is. I don't know if they carry diseases or anything. There was an old man who said, "Well, will nobody answer this bell? I have pulled day and night till my hair has gone white, but nobody answers this bell. I wonder if anyone's home. What if he's ringing a church bell or something?" Hair is very clearly black. Maybe it was blacker before. Maybe this is an image of him when he just started. Dark Souls moment. Yeah, true, it could be. Time to go hollow. There was an old man of Melrose who walked on the tips of his toes. But they said, "It ain't pleasant to see you at present, you stupid old man of Melrose." Oh, very judgmental of them. They accept you if you walk on the tips of your toes. I feel like this one's like a very famous, iconic image. There was an old man of the south who had an immoderate mouth, but in swallowing a dish that was quite full of fish, he choked, that old man of the south. Oh dear, should have chewed more. There was an old person of Spain who hated all trouble and pain, so he, I guess it sat on a chair with his feet in the air. That umbragius, old man of Spain. I don't know how to say that word. Umbragius. What does it even mean? Umbragius. Boarding shade spotted with shadows. Inclined to take offense easily. Oh, he was a Karen. Okay. Umbragus. Okay, thank you. Genji Ito is a plagiarist. This man did nothing. Rainy, hi! Hey, dude! Yum, yum, yum! How was Sonic? Did you have fun? You like it? Hey, did you? Hello, welcome! Hope you had a fun stream. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you for that. It was so fun. Everyone needs to play it. Yay, I'm glad. I'm glad it was fun. I know that you're being excited for that game, so I'm glad you had a good time. Receive magic buff, Duke. Alright. Duke of Silver. Thank you so much for redeeming the magic buff. I hope that you're doing well. And I hope that you have people around you who are supportive of you and appreciate how wonderful that you are. And that you know that you're appreciated here in this community. And that if there is anything that you're going through that is challenging you, just know that it will pass. And there are people that would love to help you if you need the help. And cheering you on. Even just silently. We hold you in our heart, Duke. Thank you so much for redeeming the buff. Hope that it was helpful. Anxious about coming back to stream, but oh my god, mind blown. Everyone came to say hi. Yeah! I was so excited that you said you were going to stream again. I was heading to Duke it down. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. You don't have to hang out if you need to go eat. I understand. Thank you for saying hello. I appreciate it. Been 7 months since your last stream. Oh my gosh. Good job coming back. Help me, I know I'm fantastic. The rest of these delightful people, well, they are all welcome too, and that all applies to them. They deserve support and love and appreciation. They deserve to understand that whatever they're experiencing, no matter how intense, no matter how final it feels, it will pass. The only constant in life is change. Whatever we feel today will pass, and everything will change. Better or worse, but you deserve support and you deserve to feel that you can reach out if you need help. So yeah. Let me just hydrate because I've been talking a lot. Thank you again for the raid, I appreciate it. So we have been reading some nonsense by Edward Lear. I've just been reading some limericks right now. Sorry if you heard a noise, that was me pushing the footstool randomly. I don't know if we want to read more of this or something else. There's quite a variety of things here. Well, I guess we can do some laughable lyrics. How about that? The dong? Yeah, okay. Sure, we'll read this one. So these are from the 1800s, by the way. It's a very old. Very, very old. Gotta go? Okay, thank you, Pecan. Take care, thank you for stopping by. Raise your dongas. Oh my goodness, Vint. The dong with the luminous nose. When awful darkness and silence reign over the great Brombulian plain, through the long, long wintry nights, when the angry breakers soar, as they beat on the rocky shore. I guess breakers like waves breaking. When storm clouds brood on the towering heights of the hills of the Chankly Bore, then through the vast and gloomy dark there moves what seems a fiery spark, a lonely spark with silvery rays, piercing the coal black night, a meteor strange and bright. Hither and thither the vision strays, a single lurid light. Slowly it wanders, pauses, creeps. Anon it sparkles, flashes and leaps. And ever as onward it gleaming goes, a light on the bong tree stems it throws. The bong tree stems it throws. Those who watch at the midnight hour, from hall or terrace or lofty tower, cry as the wild light passes along, the dong, the wandering dong through the forest goes, the dong with the luminous nose. Long years ago, the dong was happy and gay, till he fell in love with a Jumbly girl, who came to those shores one day. For the Jumblies came in a sieve, they did, landing at eve near the Zimmery Fid. Thank you, Doc, for gifting to Rainy. That's very kind. Where am I? Where the oblong oysters grow, and the rocks are smooth and grey, and all the woods and valleys rang with the chorus they daily and nightly sang. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green, their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. Sounds dangerous. I don't think you want to go to sea in a porous boat. Oh, it was Doc. Okay, for a second I thought it was Rainy. But thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate it. DK mains have history. Okay, let me read on. Happily passed those days, while the cheerful Jumblies stayed. They danced in circles all night long, to the plaintive pipe of the lively dong, in moonlight shade or shine. For day and night he was always there, by the side of the Jumbly girl so fair, with her sky-blue hands and her sea-green hair, till the morning came of that hateful day, when the Jumblies sailed in their sieve away, and the dong was left on the cruel shore, gazing for evermore, ever keeping his weary eyes on that pea-green sail on the far horizon, singing the Jumbly chorus still, as he sat all day on the grassy hill. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green, their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. But when the sun was low in the west, the dong arose and said, "What little sense I once possessed has quite gone out of my head." And since that day he wanders still, by lake and forest and marsh and hill, singing, "Oh, somewhere, in valley or plain, might I find my Jumbly Girl again. For ever I'll seek by lake and shore, till I find my Jumbly Girl once more, playing a pipe with silvery squeaks. Since then his Jumbly Girl he seeks. And because by night he could not see, he gathered the bark of a wangum tree on the flowery plain that grows, and he wove him a wondrous nose, a nose as strange as a nose could be, of vast proportions and painted red, and tied with cords to the back of his head. In a hollow rounded space it ended, with a luminous lamp within suspended, all fenced about with a bandaged snout of stout, to prevent the wind from blowing it out, and with holes all round to send the light and the gleaming rays on the dismal night. And now each night and all night long, over those plains still roams the dong, and above the wail of the chimp and the snipe, you may hear the squeak of his plaintive pipe, while ever he seeks, but seeks in vain, to meet with his Jumbly Girl again. Lonely and wild all night he goes, the dong with his luminous nose, and all who watch at the midnight hour, from the hall or terrace or lofty tower, cry as they trace the meteor bright, moving along through the dreary night. This is the hour when forth he goes, the dong with a luminous nose. Yonder, over the plain he goes, he goes, he goes, the dong with the luminous nose. How surprisingly sad. Oh yeah, that was another one of the stories. What do we think? We had enough? I guess I've been in a while since listening to someone talk about jumblies and dogs. Got two old bachelors. Do we want to hear about them? What are the other options? The old bachelors, the Pelican Chorus, the Yongi Bongi Bo. Yeah, gotta have Yongi Bongi Bo. You like these personally? I'm glad I could share them with you. These were stories that my father shared with me when I was a little mageling, so happy to share with my magelings. He had a book called The Complete Nonsense of Edward Lear, so this is I think most of it. Did I have my chat box on the other side? Will that make it easier to see? I guess there's not too much to see on this part though. That should be okay. Right, let's read about the courtship of the Yongi Bongi Bo. On the coast of Coromandel, where the early pumpkins blow, in the middle of the woods lived the Yongi Bongi Bo. 2 old chairs and half a candle, 1 old jug without a handle. These were all his worldly goods in the middle of the woods. These were all the worldly goods of the Yongi Bongi Bo, of the Yongi Bongi Bo. Once among the bong trees walking, where the early pumpkins blow, to a little heap of stones came the Yongi Bongi Bo. There he heard a lady talking to some milk-white hens of Dorking. 'Tis the Lady Jingly Jones. On the little heap of stones sits the Lady Jingly Jones, said the Yongi Bongi Bo, said the Yongi Bongi Bo. Lady Jingly, sitting where the pumpkins blow. Will you come and be my wife? Said the Yongi Bongi Bo. I am tired of living singly on this coast so wild and shingly. I'm a-weary of my life. If you'll come and be my wife, quite serene would be my life, said the Yongi Bongi Bo, said the Yongi Bongi Bo. Oh, that's sweet. On the coast of Coromandel, shrimps and watercresses grow. Prawns are plentiful and cheap, said the Yonky Bonky Beau. You shall have my chairs and candle, and my jug without a handle. Gaze upon the rolling deep. Fish is plentiful and cheap. As the sea, my love, is deep, said the Yonky Bonky Beau, said the Yonky Bonky Beau. Lady Jingly answered sadly, and her tears began to flow. The proposal comes too late, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau. I would be your wife most gladly. Here she twirled her fingers madly. But in England I've a mate. Yes, you've asked me far too late. For in England I've a mate, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau. Oh no, he proposed too late. Mr. Jones, his name is Handel Jones, Esquire and Co. Dorking fowls delight to send, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau. Keep your chairs and candle, and your jug without a handle. I can merely be your friend. Should Mr. Jones more Dorking send, I will give you 3, my friend, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau. Though you've such a tiny body, and your head is so large, or your head so large doth grow, though your hat may blow away, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau, though you're such a hoddy-doddy, yet I wish that I could modify the words I must say. Will you please go away? That is all I have to say, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau, Mr. Yonky Bonky Beau. Down the slippery slopes of myrtle, where the early pumpkins blow, the calm and silent sea, did the Yonky Bonky Beau. There beyond the bay of Gurtle lay a large and lively turtle. You're the cove, he said, for me, on your back beyond the sea. Turtle, you shall carry me, said the Yonky Bonky Beau, said the Yonky Bonky Beau. Making an escape on a turtle, let's go! Yonky Bonky boundaries here. Through the silent roaring ocean did the turtle swiftly go. Holding fast upon his shell, rode the Yonky Bonky Beau. With a sad, primeval motion, towards the sunset isles of Boshen. Still the turtle bore him well, holding fast upon his shell. Lady Jingly Jones, farewell, sang the Yonky Bonky Beau, sang the Yonky Bonky Beau. From the coast of Coromandel did that lady ever go? On that heap of stones she mourns for the Yonky Bonky Beau. On that coast of Coromandel, in his jug without a handle, still she weeps and daily moans on that little heap of stones. To her Dorking hens she moans for the Yonky Bonky Beau. Actually, music. Wow, we already read The Pebble Who Has No Toes. Oh, that's a sad one too. So many sad ones. The music on my stuff. I cannot read music. Oh my gosh, talking so much. Tiring. I'll see if there are any others that spark inspiration. We read The Pebble Who Has No Toes. New vestments of Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos. Wangle Wangle's hat. Wangle Wangle Quee is oh yeah, this is a good one. I like this one. Imagine writing complete nonsense, ghibli words, and being so skilled at it people remember you for 200 years. It's quite the feat, isn't it? Quite the feat. Wangle Wangle's hat. On the top of the crumpety tree, the Quangle Wangle sat, but his face could not see on account of his beaver hat. For his hat was 102 feet wide, with ribbons and bibbons on every side, and bells and buttons and loops and lace, so that nobody could ever see the face. of the Quangle Wangle Quee. He's Big Hat Logan. He must be a mage. The Quangle Wangle, to himself on the crumpety tree, or said to himself on the crumpety tree, jam and jelly and bread are the best of food for me. But the longer I live on this crumpety tree, the plainer than ever it seems to me that very few people come this way, and that life, on the whole, is far from gay, said the Quangle Wangle Quee. He used to find a nightclub. Maybe he could start one. But there came to the crumpety tree Mr. and Mrs. Canary, and they said, did you ever see any spot so charmingly airy? May we build a nest on your lovely hat? Oh, here it goes. I'm gonna build a nightclub. Mr. Quangle Wangle, grant us that. Oh, please let us come and build a nest of whatever material suits you best, Mr. Quangle Wangle Quee. I imagine when you can do it yourself, Vint. Yes. Nonsense by Vint next time. And beside to the crumpety tree came the stork, the duck, and the owl, the snail and the bumblebee, the frog and the fimblefowl with a corkscrew leg. And all of them said, we humbly beg, we may build our homes on your lovely hat, Mr. Quangle Wangle, grant us that, Mr. Quangle Wangle Quee. And the golden grouse came there, and the pobble, who has no toes. Yes, he's here. The small Olympian bear, and the dong with the luminous nose, him too. And the blue baboon who played the flute, and the orient calf from the land of Toot, and the attery squash, and the bisky bat, all came and built on the lovely hat of the Quangle Wangle Quee. The whole party. He did build a club. And the Quangle Wangle said to himself on the crumpety tree, when all these creatures move, what a wonderful noise there'll be. And at night, by the light of the mulberry moon, they dance to the flute of the blue baboon and the broad green leaves of the crumpety tree. And all were as happy could be with the Quangle Wangle Quee. I had to clear my throat. That was so nice. Don't know if I can. Just trying to think if it makes me cross-eyed. Yes, write nonsense for us, Vint. What's the trick to make it nonsense, but also fun to read and evocative of emotion? I guess you'll have to study this, these works, Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Oh, a lot of it's sad. I'm glad the Quangle Wangle Quee was happy. We're having, like, spurned love and missing love and all kinds of things. Cumberbund. Yeah, those are the ones that are familiar to me. Quangle Wangle Quee, the pobble who has no toes, the dong with the luminous nose, Owl and the Pussycat. Those are most of the ones I recognize. Having a look at any others. Guess there's the Jumblies. We did hear about Jumblies and the dong with the luminous nose. Calico Pie. That's a short one. We'll read that one. You're looking and listening to your lovely voice in the background. Gotta run errands and bathroom. Yeah. Of course. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Okay. Calico Pie. We got that crumpety. The last story made me kind of want crumpets. Calico Pie. The little birds fly down the calico tree. Their wings were blue, and they sang Lily-loo, till away they flew, and they never came back to me. They never came back. They never came back. They never came back to me. Calico jam. The little fish swam over the syllabub sea. He took off his hat to the sole and a sprat, and the willoughby wet. But he never came back to me. He never came back. He never came back. He never came back to me. Calico ban. The little mice ran to be ready in time for tea. Flippity flop, they drank it all up and danced in the cup. But never came back to me. They never came back to me. Never came back to me. Never came back to me. Calico drum. The grasshoppers come, butterfly, beetle, and bee. Over the ground, around and round, the hop and a bound. But they never came back. They never came back. They never came back. They never came back to me. Yes, more things leaving. Have a good rest, Killing. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Reading this to Vivian every night now. She's in my sleep right now, so she's hearing it. Unless she's asleep. I'm not sure if she's asleep. She might be. Sorry about Mr. and Mrs. Sparrow. A little bit longer. Not super long. Well, it's already an established couple. Let's hope they don't get divorced. Mr. and Mrs. Spicky Sparrow. On a little piece of wood, Mr. Spicky Sparrow stood. Mrs. Sparrow sat close by, a making of an insect pie for her little children 5 in the nest and all alive, singing with a cheerful smile to amuse them all the while. Wicky 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 wee, wicky bicky twicky tee, spicky bicky bee. Mrs. Spicky Sparrow said, Spicky, darling, in my head many thoughts of trouble come, like to flies upon a plum. All last night among the trees I heard you cough, I heard you sneeze, and I thought, it's come to that because he does not wear a hat. Chippy whippy, sicky tee, vicky wicky ticky me, spicky chippy wee. Not that you are growing old, but the nights are growing cold. No one stays out all night long without a hat. I'm sure it's wrong. Mr. Spicky said, How kind, dear, you are to speak your mind. All your life I wish you luck. You are a lovely duck. Witchy witchy wee, witchy twitchy witchy witchy bee, ticky ticky tee. I was all so sad and thinking, when one day I saw you winking, and I heard a sniffle snuffle, and I saw your feathers ruffle. To myself I sadly said, she's neuralgia in her head? Her dear head has nothing on it. Ought she not to wear a bonnet? Witchy kitchy kitchy wee, spicky wicky mickey bee, chippy whippy chee. I have to concentrate so hard on those last parts. They're really hard to get straight. Once was an apprentice named Vint, whose job was to pick all the mint, but one day he fell, tumbled around a spell, and still on the floor, his face print. That's a good one. We should keep that one. Let us both fly up to town, where I'll buy you such a gown, which completely in the fashion you shall tie a sky blue sash on, and a pair of slippers neat to fit your darling little feet, so that you will look and feel quite volubious and genteel. Jicky wicky bicky see, chicky bicky wicky bee, twicky witchy wee. So they both to London went, alighting on the monument, whence they flew down swiftly, pop, into Moses' wholesale shop. There they bought a hat and bonnet, and a gown with spots upon it, a satin sash of clocksome blue, and a pair of slippers too. Zicky wicky micky bee, witchy witchy mitchy he, sicky ticky wee, witchy meechy. Michi's in here too. This is the book of VTubers. Well, she's not a VTuber yet, but she said she might become one. We've inspired her. But yeah, she's a streamer too. She's lovely. Then, when so completely dressed, back they flew and reached their nest. His children cried, "Oh, Ma and Pa, how truly beautiful you are!" Said they, "We trust that cold or pain we shall never feel again, while perched on tree or house or steeple. We now shall look like other people. Witchy, witchy, witchy wee, wicky, micky, bicky bee, zicky, sicky tea." Now they're appropriately attired. They never need fear being cold or having brain problems ever again. See, that's why you wear a hat, so you don't get brain problems. That's how it works. Oh my goodness. That ended up being a nice one, I think. I don't know about this one though. I sense there's too many implements mentioned in the title. Poker and tongs? I don't know if anything could come of that. I'm not sure. The Jumblies! Alright, since we read the dong with the luminous nose and they mentioned the Jumblies, we'll read the Jumblies. They went to sea in a sieve, they did. In a sieve they went to sea. In spite of all their friends could say, on a winter's morn, on a stormy day, in a sieve they went to sea. And when the sieve turned round and round, and everyone cried, "You'll all be drowned!" they called aloud, "Our sieve ain't big, but we don't care a button. We don't care a fig. In a sieve we'll go to sea. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve." They sailed away in a sieve, they did. In a sieve they sailed so fast, with only a beautiful pea-green veil, tied with a ribbon by way of a sail, to a small tobacco pipe masked. And every one said, who saw them go, "Oh, won't they soon be upset, you know? For the sky is dark and the voyage is long, and happen what may, it's extremely wrong in a sieve to sail so fast. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve." The water it soon came in, it did. The water it soon came in. So to keep them dry they wrapped their feet in a pinky paper all folded neat, and they fastened it down with a pin, and they passed the night in a crockery jar, and each of them said, "How wise we are! Though the sky be dark and the voyage be long, yet we never can think we were rash or wrong, while round in our sieve we spin. Far and few are the land where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve." And all night long they sailed away, and when the sun went down, they whistled and warbled a moony song, to the echoing sound of the coppery gong, in the shade of the mountains brown. "Oh, Timbaloo, how happy we are, when we live in a sieve, in a crockery jar, and all night long, in the moonlight pale, we sail away with a pea-green sail, in the shade of the mountains brown. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve." They sailed to the western sea, they did, to a land all covered with trees, and they brought an owl, and a useful cart, and a pound of rice, and a cranberry tart, and a hive of silvery bees, and they brought a pig, and some green jackdaws, and a lovely monkey with lollipop paws, and 40 bottles of ringboree, and no end of Stilton cheese. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. And in 20 years they all came back, in 20 years or more, and every one said, How tall you've grown! For they've been to the lakes and the terrible zone and the hills of the Chankly Boar, and they drank their health, and they gave them a feast of dumplings made of beautiful yeast, and everyone said, if we only live, we too will go to sea in a sieve, to the hills of the Cankly Boar, far and few, are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. I'm glad they made it. Because I was very skeptical. Going to sea in a sieve does not sound practical. There once was a man called Buckerwater, an ever-clever bureaucratic plotter, a contract at his hip, garbed in impeccable drip. Waifus swear there are none hotter. Wonderful. There was a mage named Vivica who practiced the magic of life. She shared her knowledge of trivia to keep her magelings from strife. Aww. I love that. Thank you, Goose. That's lovely. Thank you so much. I'm getting pretty tired. I think it's been almost 2 hours now. I think that will be enough layering for now. I hope people enjoyed it though. I really had a lot of fun sharing. Feel buffed? Nice. I'm glad. So, updates. I'm still working on my 2.0 model. It's still being rigged. I actually didn't realize it, but apparently most VTubers don't actually rig their hats the way mine is rigged. You see how I can actually kind of turn it and it's kind of got a 3D motion to it? Apparently most VTubers with hats don't actually have that full range of motion for their hat. It just kind of stays in place while their heads move. So it's very limited movement. So that means that there's a lot more involved to rig my hat to make sure that there's the right layers for the art and that the rigging is done correctly. But fortunately, my VTuber mama and papa, Mavely is making my 2.0 and Lial is doing my rigging again. They're working very well together, so they should be able to get that all sorted. Also feel buff from having a good day till now. Thank you, I'm glad. Thank you, Chase, I appreciate it. I really love my hat. This hat wouldn't have been possible the way it is without all the hard work of my rigger. She really made it possible. So I'm really glad that she is able to do my 2.0 one as well, because I would feel much less confident if someone I didn't know was doing it, because apparently it's quite a rare thing to to worry about doing. I think I've seen maybe one person that has a hat with a proper like range of motion rig, so yeah. But my new model is I'm really excited for it. I hope that I can announce when I'll be debuting it sometime soon. I was hoping to be November, but I want to give enough notice so people can know about it, because I feel like with my 1.5 debut we just kind of went ahead with it quickly once it was ready, because we knew that 2.0 was in the works, so we wanted to start using it. So that's why I have now my staff and my cloak that I can open. Before I didn't have the ability to open my cloak, so this is my 1.5 that I debuted in July. You can see my staff. My staff at the top has an orb of amber. It's actually the bottom of the staff is the roots, but it's the top. So it's a yew tree sapling. And then the base is the branches of the yew tree. So you can see the needles and the berries. The berries are edible, but they have a toxic seed in the middle. It's quite a big seed. So I don't recommend just biting down into them. Maybe peel the flesh off the seed, but you don't want to put the seed in your mouth because it's very toxic. So yeah, we've got that, and we also have my white mage outfit, which looks like a hoodie to people. My 2.0 white mage outfit will look a bit more distinctive when I'm in that like gamer pose, you know? So hopefully it won't just look like a hoodie anymore. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell in this position, because it just kind of looks like, you know, a hood and sleeves, just kind of like a hoodie. So, you know, I understand. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to show it off when it's ready. I will also have a lore video when I do my 2.0, so I'm very excited for that. Nisago kindly did the art for it, and Vince doing the editing. And I recorded the story. I wrote and recorded the story. Oh, thank you, Chase. I appreciate it. Been worse in there. Still time to vote in the poll. Yeah, did you enjoy the story time? 5 votes for yes. Just remember that needs to go here and the comic hood. Oh yeah. Yeah, he does lots of little sketches. He's so sweet. I'm gonna vote comp even though I'm mod, cause comp. I'm glad. Oh yeah, I have a little white mage. I'll show that on the other screen. When I wear my white mage outfit, I show it. So you can tell that I am actually wearing white mage robe, see? Look, we match. Me and the Babaka. Oh. We're just cute little white mages together. Buttons everywhere. Which ones to push? Here we go. I guess I got my staff out because I pushed the wrong button. That's fine. I can hold my staff. I cast a vote for both Yi and Comf because I loved it a lot. Oh! Yes, you can, absolutely. I'm glad people liked it. I wasn't sure if these kinds of stream would be appealing to people, but I feel like people do enjoy my streams like in the background, like doing other things, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm glad that people want to have my company with them. But it does mean sometimes that chat will be a little quiet. So I feel like these kinds of streams could be really good for that as well. That kind of vibe of like, I'm in the background. You can interact with me, of course, if you feel that you want to say something or, you know, ask something. But yeah, it's just kind of a nice presence to have in the background, comforting presence. People have even told me that they fall asleep to my streams, which I find really lovely, because that means that there's a lot of trust there. So I think that's really special. That especially while I'm busy working? Yeah, I think so. So we'll probably do more of these. I might write some stories myself. Bent is also working on stories. The ones that I write will probably be shorter than his. But also, I will be doing a proper recording of the one that he already wrote, Wastelands Bloom, and I'll be putting that up on my YouTube for people to be able to listen to. I did read it out during my anniversary stream, but of course, you know, it had the alerts going off and me talking to people and stuff in between, so it wasn't just straight story with no interruptions. 100% listening to the VOD to go to sleep tonight? Oh, I'm glad. You Moonveil verbose? He's trying to build kind of a portfolio of stories for us to go alongside our streams. VTubers do a lot of different things, and our skills are mostly based around writing. Obviously people like my voice, but I don't feel very confident with singing. And I'm not confident at all with my art, so we thought that something that we could bring to our presence, to our streams and our content would be stories. So yeah, we'd be working to bring some more of those stories out, and as I mentioned, make audio versions of them. Maybe have, I discussed with someone to make a little comic strip to go with each story so that there's something visually engaging that relates to the story to draw people in, because I know not everyone is immediately engaged by just seeing a wall of text, you know? I don't know what's going to happen with Twitter, but I did create a Tumblr. I haven't put anything on it yet, but I was thinking that maybe that would be a good place to share some of my short writing, because that's a place where people do tend to be more interested in reading short form stories and things like that. So that might be helpful if people are interested in that. I'll share the link when I've got something there to show. It shouldn't be too hard to find me though if you're really curious. But yeah, so here I go to Tumblr. Yeah, I'll try to have some content up there sometime soon. I thought too I could probably repost some of my fan art that people have lovingly given me, so that there's a easier place to find it. You can find it under my my art tag on Twitter, but I feel like that's sometimes a little unreliable. So yeah, I'd like to kind of have it together. I do have some of the fan art that people have gifted me, and I created them as well on my card site, which is linked on my Twitter as well. But it's just a few of them, so I feel like I'd like to share more of them there. This is another way to commemorate them and make them easily accessible to people. So yeah, I think that'll be fun. Vince said that there's a lovely community member streaming right now. You go say hello to them. You just see what they're doing. Or if there's an echo, I'll try to mute it quickly. Okay, it's already muted. So Mozzie is playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Mozzie is a lovely mageling and has made lovely fan out of me before, and just is generally very sweet, all the interactions I've had with them, so they seem really chill. Let's go and give them some support and buffs and check them out. If you did miss the buff, I think I can bring up the link. Here we go. So this week's buff was about, oh, that's the old one. This week's buff was about laughing at ourselves, not in a deprecating way, but in a way of seeing the humor in something and releasing that tension so that we don't, you know, lash out, that sort of thing. We have a Discord if you'd like to come and say hello. I'm pretty active there, and so is Vince. And I mentioned I have a Twitter. My Curious Cat as well is where you can submit questions anonymously. You can suggest buff topics. You can just ask me things, whatever you like. Just give me feedback. I'm always interested in hearing what you have to say. I've been posting more VODs on my VOD channel on YouTube. So there's a lot up there now. I've been trying to get into the habit of doing them constantly. The Elden Ring ones will be out later this month. I've scheduled some of them and I'm gonna keep working through them. So yeah. The doof booty shake. Alright, let's copy that raid message, and if you're heading over, I appreciate it. Come and say hello to Muzzy with me. Otherwise, please take care. Bye for now.